This is your ultimate stop for everything sports. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Should I say more? From the NFL, MLB, the NBA to MMA, it's all in here. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Listen now.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the GSMC Sports Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I am your host, Jeff Malinoff, and with me is my buddy who has a little beef with Mike McCarthy, it feels like, Mark Souza.
What's going on, man?
Not much, but we are going to recap Thursday Night Football, where Mike McCarthy made a questionable call at the end of the game, where you have some comments about that, don't you?
I absolutely do.
Yes, and then we're also going to talk every game that's going to happen this Sunday for this week in football, as well as a roundup of the NBA, most notably the Warriors and Rockets game, as well as some insight on what Draymond Green said to Kevin Durant. So we got some interesting stuff there. But first, we will get to the Thursday Night Football matchup that happened. The Seattle Seahawks have defeated the Green Bay Packers by a score of 27-24, a score I had opposite, as in I had the Packers winning, and you had the same score, but you had the Seahawks winning.
That's a weird way of saying that I nailed it, but I'll take it.
Yeah, I didn't really want to say you nailed it. So,
yes. I mean, we both figured it would be obviously a game like this. We both picked the exact score right, so we knew that it would be a tightly contested game and ultimately come down to the final minutes, which it did. So let me ask you before we get more into the game, are the Packers out of it? Yes, 4-5-1. They have 4 wins in week 11. I think they're done.
Rodgers is saying, and I quote, "Of course there's hope for playoffs after the loss."
Yeah, because the division's tight and they do get to see the Bears again. They've already beaten them once. And, of course, Minnesota plays the Bears this week. So the Packers are obviously rooting for Minnesota, I think, to win that game, to create a little bit more cluster ahead of them and have not one team run away with it. So I see what he's saying because of divisional games, but I mean, let's be real, Jeff. Like, they got 4 wins in 11 weeks. If they don't win the division, it's going to be tough, and they're already 2 games back. So I don't think it's happening.
Well, remember my bold prediction for this game, too, is Devontae Adams having over 100 receiving yards?
Well, I do remember.
Pretty right about that, and then some.
He had a good game. He had that one really long catch, too.
10 receptions for 166 yards. You're talking about the 57-yard pass he got. But yet, no touchdowns.
And he should have got another pass interference call in his favor, which he did not get. So, yeah, he had a really big game.
But he had no touchdowns, so that must have been frustrating for fantasy football owners. But we'll get into that when we hit the fantasy football podcast later today. But, yeah, he had 10 receptions, 166 yards. Great game for him. Rodgers went 21 of 30, 332 with 2 touchdowns, no picks. So he had a pretty darn...
He had a really good game.
He had a 128.8 quarterback rating.
It's hard to lose a game when your Hall of Fame quarterback has that good of a game.
But how'd they lose this game? I think you know.
Well, I mean, they had problems defensively. They obviously let Seattle come back in the game, but
there was one key instance that really lost them the game here.
I mean, I know what you're alluding to, and that's Mike McCarthy deciding to punt the football on 4th and 2 with, 4 minutes left in the football game?
That's correct.
Their own 33-yard line. Like, I get it, you're on your own side of the field, but you have Aaron Rodgers on your team. I'd feel pretty confident in him picking up 2 yards for a first down. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But I want to put the game on the shoulders of my Hall of Fame quarterback rather than my defense that sometimes plays well and sometimes doesn't play well. Would you agree with that? Or
Yeah, a defense that's been sloppy, not going to lie, sloppy, or
hadn't stopped the Seahawks in the second half. You know what I mean?
Or the quarterback that's considered one of the best right now and of all time.
Yeah, exactly. And the Seahawks can run the football. So, I mean, if the Packers... I don't know how the Packers really thought, like, hey, we're going to stop them for sure and get the football back. Like, that was always a risky proposition, in my opinion.
Yeah. And after this game, there are some talks of Mike McCarthy not returning after this season for obvious reasons. He's only had one Super Bowl win and one Super Bowl appearance. So he had a 15-1 season in 2011. They lost in the divisional round. There's always been a very disappointing season to end on with the Packers. Do you think they should move on from him?
Well, I thought they should have moved on before the season. So, yes, absolutely. I think you kind of mentioned it. He's had, 11 years with Aaron Rodgers? And, one Super Bowl appearance. Like, to me, I get it. Like, you won the Super Bowl. I'm not taking anything away from him. But that just seems very underwhelming to have the best quarterback in the conference over the last decade and only make one Super Bowl appearance. That, to me, is underwhelming. They should have been in the Super Bowl at least, I'd say, 3 times or so in that time period.
Sounds about right. They had that one game where the onside kick didn't go in their favor.
These teams always play a weird game, right?
They've been in multiple NFC title games, too.
Yeah, these teams... They had the Fail Mary, we talked about yesterday. They had that playoff game, which was even crazier, in my opinion, than the Fail Mary because of all the events that happened in that game. And then yesterday was a really tough game, too. And you almost thought, like, hey, something weird's about to happen here at the end of the game just because of these two teams,
And a punt on 4th and 2 in the fourth quarter really is weird.
When will teams learn? When will they learn? So get this. So what happens? What's the worst thing that happens if the Packers don't succeed on 4th and 2? Let's say they go for it. Rodgers throws an incomplete pass, turnover on downs. Then Seattle takes over the ball, right?
Yes.
They're at the 33-yard line of Green Bay, right?
Yes.
And let's say the Packers stop them.
Okay.
And they kick a field goal. So then now the Packers are down 6. Does that make sense?
Yes.
You still have a chance to win the game. You still have a chance to win the game. You're down 6 with Aaron Rodgers coming back on the field.
But so what you're saying is, like, if they're punting the ball, they have a longer field to get through, and they'll waste more time.
Well, you're right. I mean, what I'm saying is, you have to stop the first down anyways, right? Like, you have to stop them from getting a first down, whether you're on your own 10-yard line or on their 10-yard line. So you have to stop them, and you take the risk in going for it before you have to stop them because you want to keep the ball. Obviously, you're down in the game. You need to score to win the game or tie the game. Mm-hmm. So if you go for it on 4th down, like for me, when I'm doing the risk analysis here, what's the worst that can happen? Oh, we give them the ball on our 33-yard line, and if we stop them, we have a chance to win. If we don't stop them, it doesn't matter where they have the ball. That's the thing, right? Like, it doesn't matter where they have the ball. So you stop them, they kick a field goal, okay, you're down a touchdown. But you have Aaron Rodgers with about 2 minutes left in that regard, in that situation.
And he's known for fourth quarter comebacks. He can drive the ball.
He does it all the time. I mean, it's Aaron Rodgers. Jeff, if I told you in the last 15 years, pick any quarterback, let's get real serious for a minute. If I said, gun to your head, you have to pick a quarterback, who is going to lead you to a win right now with 2 minutes left? You might not pick Rodgers, but he'd be in your conversation,
you
right?
Would think about him, absolutely.
Yeah. Like, you'd write his name down, like, I could go here, Brady's pretty good.
But a gun to your head, so you probably don't have time to think. So
you might just say Rodgers.
Here's a piece of paper. Do your brainstorm before I blow your brains out. Yeah,
you know what I mean, though. Like, I know where that sounds a little serious, but
I know.
But it's true, though, right? Like, I mean, who would you pick? Brady, Rodgers. I mean, who?
Brady and Rodgers are my top 2.
Yeah, the top. Maybe you might pick Russell Wilson just for the fact that he can run around a little bit and do some crazy stuff.
Yeah, he's my backup.
Sure, but regardless. You're Mike McCarthy, right? Put on your Mike McCarthy.
Don't put that on me.
Imagine your headset right now is Mike McCarthy's, okay? Now, 4th and 2, I'm gonna send my punter out there and no, dude. I would
basically say, am I fired already on the field right now?
Yeah,
okay.
You got to think in your head, I need to win this game. I'm on the road. Why am I playing for a tie right now? Like, why am I playing to punt and to get enough time back? Hopefully my defense stops him at get enough time back so I can kick a field goal and go to overtime. Come on. Like, You play to win the game.
Okay, Herm Edwards. I didn't know you were going to go there. But
yeah,
sure.
yeah, you know how it is. One thing that bothers me a lot, and if people listen, they know. Like, I hate conservative coaches. It's in the NFL. Like, they're conservative to a fault all the time. Give your team a chance to win. You're telling me that offense didn't want to go for it on that fourth down play? You're telling me that Randall Cobb and Devontae Adams didn't feel like they could get the first down? Of course they did. They were running the ball well. They could have handed off to Jones up the middle. I mean, the Packers offense played a good game, but unfortunately, I feel like decision-making above them kind of cost them a chance to win.
Yes. True, you're right about that. And Herm Edwards is right. You play to win the game. And there are coaches in the NFL right now that are just being way too conservative. And it is frustrating when you see a 4th and short, even in like the first quarter, and they punt it. It's like you don't trust your team to get 2 yards?
Yeah, I mean, if you have... I mean, I don't want to say his name again. I'll say a different quarterback. But if you have... No, screw it. I'll say it. Nathan Peterman, okay? You have Nathan Peterman, and you have 4th and 2 on your own 33. Okay, you're not taking that chance because he has just as good of a chance to throw it to the other team as he does your team, right? But you have
Why not just
Rodgers.
run the ball? It's 4th and 2.
If you got Rodgers, Brady, you think the Chiefs are punting on 4th and 2 at their own 33? Now, say what you want about Andy Reid, but they're not punting in that situation. They're going for it.
They better not.
They're going for it. And you're telling me you trust Mahomes more than Rodgers? Come on. These coaches have got to play to their strengths, and they got to just go for it. They got to put it on the shoulders of their franchise quarterbacks. It's why you pay these guys, right? Mm-hmm. You're paying Aaron Rodgers $130 million to what? Come off the field on 4th and 2 with 4 minutes left in a football game? Come on.
Yeah. So that's the issues. Is to be conservative or not to be conservative? That is the age-old question we will be talking about for years to come.
and it's funny too because coaches will go conservative because they think that it's actually the smart thing to do, but it's a lot of times it's not. Just because you don't go for it doesn't mean you're making the right choice or making the safe choice, right? Mm-hmm. It's more of a risk. Wouldn't you say that it's more of a risk that your defense stops Seattle from getting a first down rather than Aaron Rodgers getting the first down there and extending that original drive?
In theory, you're right, but I think I'm going to go on the lines of they think that if they don't get this
game's over,
4th down, there's no chance. It's almost they have no faith in their defense rather than no faith in their offense. I know that sounds a little backwards.
Well, the thing is if they were down 3 points, then I'd say punt because you're winning the football game and you don't want to give the team the ball right there.
But you're up by 4 points, so it's not enough for to be conservative about. If you're up by 8, fine, because then they'll have to get a 2-point conversion, but that's still tied. 4 points is they score 1 touchdown, not even a extra point, and they're winning the game.
Yeah,
see where I'm getting at?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. So. I don't know, but let's talk about Seattle. They played a really good game last night. Again,
we're taking nothing away from Seattle. We're just saying that they were handed a golden opportunity, and Russell Wilson shined with it.
And you got to hand it to Pete Carroll and that team because, again, this seems to be a common theme with them the last couple of years. They've started off the season really slow, and then they pick it up. And I think we're seeing that with Seattle again. They're 5-5. We talked about it yesterday. They have 5 of their last 6 games at home. Could they possibly make a run? I think they might. They play the Cardinals once. They play the 49ers twice. So 3 of their last 6 games are against the bottom-feeding teams in their division. That's 3 wins they should have right there. That should get them to 8. Now, if they can win 2 of their other 3 games, which is possible, I think 10 wins gets you in.
10 wins, yes, possibly. But this is a very tough conference, And there are a lot of teams that are going to have 10 wins also, I feel like. There's going to be multiple teams in that instance where they're behind in the division, but still 10, 11 wins.
Let me tell you some facts here. Ready?
Okay.
So there's 6 games left. I told you they play the 49ers twice and the Cardinals once, right? Mm-hmm. These are their other 3 games. The Panthers...
That's a tough one.
The Vikings, excuse me.
Pretty tough.
Yeah, very tough. And the Chiefs.
Okay, they might.
But hold on.
Okay.
2 of the 3 are at home. The only one that's on the road is a Panthers game. Now, I know what you're going to say. You're going to say that's a really tough schedule. They could lose all 3 of those games, and I agree with you. But also, 2 of those teams, the Panthers and the Vikings, are teams that they have to beat to get in the playoffs. And you actually kind of want to play those games, right? Like, you don't want to have to rely on those teams to lose. You want to actually just go ahead and beat them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the opportunity is there. I know what you're saying. That's tough, and I agree with you. But they're tough teams that they're going to have to beat if they're going to get in anyway. So,
well, what I was going to say is, like, yes, these are going to be tough games, but you can give them the advantage at home. But again, the Chiefs are that huge wrench that's right in the wheel. You know what I mean? Like that's the huge wrench in the problem. They're facing an AFC team, so it doesn't benefit them in the conference at all for playoff spots. And they're playing the best team in the AFC right now.
yes.
So it's not going to be easy for them, not by a long shot.
No, not at all.
And there's still like teams right in the behind other great teams in division play. Like the Carolina Panthers are a perfect example. They're 2 losses or 3 losses, and they're right behind the 1-loss Saints. But in another division, they would be first. So they got to worry about other players, other teams that are going to be wild card contenders.
And you know what? Their next game is against Carolina. Their next game is against Carolina on the road. And they will play Carolina on the road, but they're going to have extra rest. They're going to have extra days to prepare for Carolina. Carolina plays this weekend against the Detroit Lions. They should win that game, but it is a road game for them. And they'll have a normal schedule. Seahawks will be able to watch that game, study them, and get ready and be fully rested for next week. So there's a little bit of an advantage there. They could be heading in the right direction.
Yes, and we are going to take a short break. We finished up with Thursday Night Football. When we get back, we will be talking about every other game in the week of football on Sunday, and we'll get right there when we return to you.
Are you looking for the very best NFL and college football podcast? Then check out the GSMC Football Podcast. Get the latest football news both on and off the field. From the NFL Draft to trades to the rumor mill to the NFL Combines. They got you covered. That's GSMCpodcast.com/football-podcast. Get updates on college rivalries, game day insights, and much, much more. It's football talk the way you want it. This show eats, sleeps, and breathes football. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
And welcome back to the GSMC Sports Podcast. We just finished talking about the Thursday Night Football matchup between the Seahawks and the Packers. Now we're moving on to Week 11 of the NFL season for this Sunday's games. We'll just go down in order, see who we think are going to win or have our picks. Mm-hmm. So first things first, we got Bengals and Ravens.
Bengals and Ravens. Okay.
Pretty even in their records, 5-4 and 4-5.
Mm-hmm. Who's home?
I believe it is Baltimore.
Yes, and Baltimore is a 4-point favorite, which I find interesting because we don't know who's going to be quarterback for the Ravens this weekend. In fact...
Well, actually, RG3 has been the only one active in practice.
Exactly.
So
Lamar Jackson's been sick all week.
Yeah. So it's most likely going to be RG3 now. So we said yesterday that we were thinking it was going to be on the football, or maybe on the sports podcast, we were thinking it was going to be Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
Now it might be RG3.
How do you get sick on the first week that you might be the starting? I don't know.
Ask Lamar Jackson.
That's unfortunate. Do you think that RG3 will start if Lamar Jackson is healthy, though, or do you think that it'll be Lamar's job if he's healthy, he gets to start. If he's not, then RG3 starts.
I think this is a coach's decision on Sunday, so it can go either way.
Okay, so do you like the Bengals or the Ravens here?
I'm going to go with the Ravens.
Okay.
Their defense and it's home. Their defense is still being stellar as ever. And the Bengals are kind of been struggling.
Oh, yeah, they have.
And they just got Hugh Jackson as their coach, and that guy is, I feel like, a bad luck charm almost.
Hey, but he's been decent as an offense. I mean, that's why he's gotten jobs as head coaches, right? Because he's been a decent coordinator. We'll see if he can help him. He's the special assistant. He's the Dwight Schrute, right?
He's the regional he's an assistant to the regional manager. That's what I was saying before when I first.
Yeah,
heard
that was
this.
your thing. He's your Dwight Schrute position.
Yes. Because seriously, it's a made up position, isn't it?
It sounds like it. So, what do you think the score is going to be? Ravens. What's the score?
Give me 24-17.
24-17 Ravens. I'm going to take the Bengals here. I don't think they're the better team. I don't feel confident in it, but the indecisiveness at quarterback might play a role because even if RG3 has been practicing, he doesn't even know if he's starting. I think there is a mindset to knowing the whole week that you will be the starter. And if Lamar Jackson is named the starter, he hasn't practiced all week. So it's hard for me in his first NFL start to trust him. And it's hard for me to trust RG3 too, who hasn't really played a meaningful football in a while. So I do have the Bengals winning 23-20 in this game. Ugly win.
Ugly win.
So what do you got next?
We got next is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the New York Football Giants.
Oh boy.
Game of the week, question mark?
Somehow this game isn't the matchup that has the two worst records facing each other. You would think so. There is one more that has a worse pairing.
Oh dear,
this one actually has 5 wins combined. The other matchup that we'll talk about in a minute has 3 wins combined. So this one's noticeably better.
Not by much.
So Bucks at Giants. What do you think?
I'm gonna go Fitzmagic on this one.
You got the Fitzmagic. The Giants are actually favored by 1.5. Interesting. They're
because it's at home. Yeah, it's at MetLife.
So you have the Bucks. You have Fitzmagic.
I'm gonna go 38-21.
I kind of feel like there's going to be some points in this game. Like this might actually be sneaky the most exciting game of the weekend. Not that you're
don't get your hopes up.
Not that you're going to watch it, but I mean, like you might check the box and be like 42-39. Like what the and then you'll be like, oh okay, these two defenses, these two offenses do have some talented players. I like the Giants in this game, Jeff. I know we're already starting off disagreeing with two in a row to start off, dude.
You're picking the Giants? Really?
They're at home. They just won a game, and they got Saquon Barkley.
Look who they played.
And you know what? The Bucks play the 49ers next week. So the Bucks get the Giants and the Niners. Maybe Fitzmagic will come out. I got the Giants, though. Let me get 34-31. 34-31 Eli and the boys. All right, who's next?
All right, so I guess we're just keep on going to disagree. Cowboys and Falcons.
Okay, we got Dallas at Atlanta. Atlanta favored by 3.5.
At the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Mm-hmm. It really throws me off when there's two teams with the same name sponsored stadiums, and they're both in the same. Yeah,
the Mercedes-Benz,
and they're both in the same division.
Yeah, Mercedes just taking the whole. They should just sponsor every team in that division. It should just be called the NFC
South.
No, the NFC Mercedes-Benz division.
The NFC South, brought to you by the Mercedes-Benz.
Yeah, there you go. It's like college football, right? Like the Sugar Bowl, brought to you by whatever.
Vizio. I don't know.
All right, so who do you got in this game?
You might disagree with us again, but I'm going Atlanta. Home offense is clicking.
Is it?
I was saying Julio Jones.
Didn't Atlanta get murdered by the Browns last week?
Yeah, but Julio Jones is still actually scoring touchdowns is what I was mainly saying.
Julio? All right.
And I'm going to say on a limb that the Browns defense is better than the Dallas Cowboys defense.
Dallas has got a pretty decent defense, though.
But
decent.
When it comes to like pressuring the quarterback and turnovers, Browns are better.
Hey, Brown's got some talent. I think we can agree on that. So, Atlanta, what do you think the score will be? You got the Falcons winning by...
I'll say 2 touchdowns. So, give me 21... no, that's too much. Okay, let's go 28-14.
28-14. All right. So, hey, man, we're going to continue on this track, dude. 3 in a row. I got the Cowboys winning. I'm not even saying that to be funny. I think the Cowboys, they got a big win on the road last week. They beat the Eagles. I think the Eagles and the Falcons are similar, as in they have good players, but both teams haven't really figured it out yet. I think Atlanta's loss last week was very deflating. They were really hot. They were riding a high. They go into Cleveland, they lose. So my reasoning is, I liked what the Cowboys did last week. They bounced back strong against the Eagles after coming off that loss to Tennessee. Ezekiel Elliott, they have something there. I thought Dak played really well. It should be a high-scoring game. I got Cowboys winning this game 31-27.
31-20. Okay.
Who we got next?
We got next is the Lions taking on the Carolina Panthers.
Okay, I think we're gonna get the same.
Yeah,
team here.
obviously the Lions. No, kidding. It's obviously going to be Carolina.
Are you worried at all? This might be a trap game. Carolina might be looking ahead. Maybe they got Seattle next week.
It is possible, but it's not like they're playing a elite team next week. So I honestly believe that this is going to be just Panthers all the way.
You want to know what's funny? Detroit practiced yesterday outside in the snow to prepare for playing in December, but they don't play an outdoor game for about a month. But
that's true.
They played in the snow for practice yesterday, even though they're playing home this week indoors. I mean, it's just kind of weird. It's like an odd time to do it. But so you got the Panthers?
Yes.
What's the score?
Give me 27-17.
27-17, okay. Carolina 27, Detroit 17. I like Carolina too. We're going to agree on this one. It's Carolina, they've been playing very well. You could actually say they've been playing as a top 5 team over the last few weeks. I like what they're doing. Cam Newton has been playing very well. I don't see them losing this game. Carolina, I have winning this game a score of 27-21.
Okay.
All right, who we got next?
We got next is the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Okay, this is a good game.
This is going to be the first game where we thought we were going to see Le'Veon Bell, but no. We're seeing James Conner yet again, who has 10 touchdowns this season and almost 800 yards rushing, which is pretty darn impressive
for a
guy that wasn't even expected to start this season.
So who do you like?
Give me Pittsburgh. Jacksonville is going back down to Jacksonville style. Do you know what I mean? They're not. James Conner is questionable, true, but I'm not worried. I think Pittsburgh's the better team. The points per game speaks for itself, 31 to 17.8. So, yeah.
Okay. So what do you think the score will be? Steelers by what?
31-17.
Oh, 31-17.
So we're just gonna keep the points per game the same.
Okay. You know what? Jacksonville has been struggling this year. They also did beat the Steelers last year in the playoffs, 45-42. Now, I don't know if Jacksonville is as bad as they have looked this year. They might be. But you know what, Jeff? I think the Jaguars are going to win this game. It might be my upset of the week.
Are you okay?
It might be my upset of the week. I think Jacksonville wins. They're at home. I think their defense will come out and make some plays. I do expect some points to be scored, but, Leonard Fournette, he might score a couple touchdowns. Blake Bortles. We'll see what happens. I'm not confident about this, but the home game, I like the matchups with the cornerbacks. I think the Pittsburgh wide receivers might have, they'll have a more difficult time than usual because it is a tough defense. So Jaguars win this game 27-24.
You're insane, man. Crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But we have probably the most even matchup of the week.
Mm-hmm.
We've got the Houston Texans and the Washington Redskins.
Yes, 6-3.
And this is a true fact. This is a Super Bowl potential game.
Oh, God. That'd be interesting.
And I say even matchup, and this is for Sunday. Monday, we will talk about the other game, but because that's the Chiefs and Rams. But for Sunday's matchups, this is probably the closest and most interesting.
Mm-hmm. All right, so what do you think will happen?
God, I can't believe I'm about to say this, but give me the Redskins.
Okay, you like the Redskins?
Adrian Peterson has been playing relatively well, surprisingly well. Alex Smith has been kind of on a roll, 10 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. That's pretty good in my opinion. And this team is just, there's something going right with this, you know? There's something that's clicking with this team.
So, what's the score?
Give me 20-10.
20-10. Washington will win. Okay,
it's gonna be an ugly game. That's for sure. It's gonna be
so we're gonna have to disagree again. I think the Texans will win. I'll tell you why. I think the Redskins' offensive line has been banged up. I think Houston's defensive line, J.J. Watt, Clowney, those guys, I think will be after Alex Smith. And I just like on the other end, I like the DeAndre Hopkins to make one more play than maybe Washington can make when they're on offense. So I think Deshaun Watson and DeAndre Hopkins get it done. I like the Texans this game by a score of 24-20 on the road.
Okay, it's a little risky there.
It is surprising to me that the Texans are favored. I am a little surprised by that.
I think because they are on a winning streak compared to Washington, who lost 2 weeks ago.
So who do we have next?
Not the sexiest matchup compared to what we just talked about, but the Titans and Colts.
That's a good game. That's two teams playing very good football right now.
Yeah, but just record-wise, it's not as sexy.
Okay. So, what do you think will happen?
This one team I'm going to say is playing just awesome football. You were saying before, I'm going to go with the Indianapolis Colts. Andrew Luck has been playing extremely well, comeback player of the year most likely. Marlon Mack has been playing to a stellar running back position. Eric Ebron just had a career game last week with the Indianapolis Colts, and just there's a lot going right with Indianapolis, and I don't think that's going to slow down anytime soon.
Okay, so what do you think the score will be?
Now that is a tough one, but give me 28-17.
28-17 Colts. Yeah, this game is really hard to pick. Both teams have been playing really well. Did we just forget that the Titans just manhandled the Patriots?
We did.
They really
34-10. Let's not forget. But
they were at home in that game. But hey, that was a big win. I think the Titans could do it again. Now, maybe they'll have a letdown game, but I think they come out winners in this matchup.
I just think maybe they're getting too in their head about it, maybe. You never know. Sometimes you get a little too cocky about it.
I got Titans winning this game 24-17. Another one that we disagree on, so let's keep it rolling.
We're going to go to the Tank Bowl for this week. It's the Raiders and Cardinals.
Okay. Yeah.
Who's tanking harder?
So who do you got?
I'm going with the Arizona Cardinals.
Okay, give me the score.
This is going to be a very sloppy game, in my opinion. Give me 19-13.
19-13 for the Arizona Cardinals. I also think the Cardinals are going to win. They're at home. The Raiders just haven't shown that they're even wanting to win. Their effort's not there. Their coaching is not there. They're obviously playing for draft picks in next season. So I think the Cardinals, they've been playing a little bit better. David Johnson's been running the ball. I think he's going to have a big game. I like the Cardinals to win this game 23-10.
Wow, 23 points. That's actually quite a lot.
Yeah, so what do we got next?
We got a playoff contender versus a not-so-much playoff contender as the Chargers take on the Broncos.
Okay, it's a good game. Chargers at home. So what do you like?
Give me the Chargers.
Yeah, I think we're going to agree on this one, too. What do you think the score will be?
Looking at their stats in the last couple of games, give me 27-21.
Joey Bosa might play. He's been practicing. That would be a big boost. They're already a hot team right now. They've lost 2 games. They're right on the Chiefs' heels.
Chargers have won their last 5.
Yeah, people keep forgetting that they're right behind the Chiefs. If the Chiefs lose this week, the Chargers can be tied for first if they win. So it's possible.
They have not lost since week 3.
Chiefs play the Rams. It's possible. So
yeah, they have not lost since week 3 against the Los Angeles Rams, ironically enough.
I like the Chargers in this game, 31-17. All right. What we got next?
Yeah, just one real quick. The only 2 teams the Chargers have lost to are the Chiefs and Rams, and those are like the best teams in football.
Mm-hmm. So what we got next here?
We got the Eagles and Saints, defending champs versus potential Super Bowl champs.
This is Fox's game of the week too.
I could see why. With last year's Super Bowl winners versus the best team in football.
Yeah, absolutely. New Orleans is favored by 8. That's surprising, no?
They're averaging 36.7 points per game.
That is a lot.
And this is week 11.
Now 51 helps that they got last week. Helps that average a little bit.
But still, this over halfway through the season, you're still averaging over 30 points a game.
So who do you think?
Give me the New Orleans Saints.
Yeah, I think we're going to agree on this one, too. They're at home, man. They're at home. You already know how hard it is to win in New Orleans. They're hot right now. Breeze, Kamara, Ingram, Thomas are all firing. And now they're going to get their new toy, Brandon Marshall. They're going to get to roll him out, see what he can do. Give me a score.
35-24 Saints.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm thinking along the same wavelength as you here. So I got 34-20. Saints win. I think it's comfortable, and I think this will be the end of the Eagles season.
Ooh.
How many games do we have left? We have a few, right?
We have 7.
No, we don't have that many left. But
you mean the weekend?
Yeah, because I think we need to take a quick break, and we should
I
come
thought
back.
you were talking about how much the games the Eagles have left of the season to do this. So sorry,
we got
I was looking at what you were talking about.
We got a few more on the slate to get to, and then we're going to talk.
We
about
have
NBA.
one more game actually.
I think we have more than one, right?
No.
Okay, one more. Let's do it. Let's knock it out.
Vikings and Bears, probably going to be the most competitive game of the week.
Vikings and Bears, Sunday Night Football. Yes. Okay, let's do it.
Give me Chicago.
You like Chicago here?
Trubinsky is having a great year.
What do you think the score is going to be?
Now, that is a tough one, but I think this is going to be one in the trenches. So give me 28-21 Chicago.
28-21 Chicago? Mm-hmm. God, we're going to have a lot of... This is going to be a big weekend in our picks because... I think the Vikings are going to win this game. Both teams, I think, are playoff teams. I really think both teams will make the playoffs. But I like the Vikings in this game. And the reason why I do is because I think the Vikings defense, their last game they had 10 sacks. I think they're playing a lot better. Dalvin Cook looks to finally be healthy. He's a big-time playmaker when he's on the field. Thielen, Diggs... I know it's in Chicago. I know it's on primetime. The Bears are favored by 2.5 points. But I like the Vikings in this game by a score of 30-27. 30-27 Vikings.
Okay. Well, we're going to take that short break. Like you said, when we get back, we'll be talking about the NBA, the National Basketball Association, and some games that have happened, some drama. And we'll get right on that when we return. Stay tuned.
Check out the show that's built on the MMA. From the UFC to extreme cage fighting, they got the fights covered. Check out the GSMC MMA podcast. Get the latest news on past or upcoming fights. Join us as we talk to and about some of the biggest names in the MMA, past, present, and future. When it's the fight game, there's just one show to check out. GSMCpodcast.com/MMA-podcast. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
Welcome, you sports fanatics, back to the Sports Podcast. We just finished talking about the Week 11 matchups in the NFL for Sunday, and now we're moving on to the National Basketball Association. So, we have more info about the drama between Kevin Durant and Draymond Green. Apparently, the reason Draymond was suspended was because he told them, quote, "We don't need you. We won without you. Just leave." Or something along those lines. You can leave. Along those lines. Really bold thing to say to one of the best players in the NBA.
Yeah, I think so. But, things happen amongst teammates, amongst friends. Let's not forget that Draymond was the guy that led the coalition to go talk to Kevin Durant to bring him. What do they call the Hampton whatever, when they met Kevin Durant in the Hamptons and convinced him, hey, come out west, man. We'll take care of you. You'll win some championships. Isn't that funny how things can change?
Yeah. And do you think it was necessary for him to say that? Do you think it was maybe too harsh? What do you think about this?
Yeah, you know how Draymond is. We talked about it yesterday, too. My position is basically the same. Draymond Green, the reason why he is so good, the reason why he has made such a big NBA career out of being a second-round draft pick is his tenacity, his competitive fire. And you know what, Jeff? You just can't turn that off. It's something where, sometimes the reason why you're good is also a reason that you're poor in another thing and another facet of life. And this is one of those times. He's a super competitive, fiery guy, and you want that guy on your team. But at the same time, things can happen. A flare-up can happen. An argument can happen. Some things can be said. So that's kind of how I feel about it. I don't think the Warriors would change his personality for anything, though.
Yeah, definitely. But this is just... And then they had the game where they threw an alley-oop, like Draymond Green threw an alley-oop to Kevin Durant. It's like, oh, they're back. They're made up. But when you hear about the argument that happened, that's going to take a while to get over if you're Durant. Because I was like, really? You're just going to say, just leave? Like, you're not even going to help me try to work this out? You just want me to leave? Like, that you're going to be a little bit salty about it, no?
Yeah, but I don't know. Sometimes me and my friends will have arguments, disagreements. We'll say some things, and then we get over it. So we'll see how they work out from here on out. I don't expect this to implode their team or anything like that. I think they'll be just fine. However, what happened last night?
What happened last night was they got their rear ends handed to them.
That was very interesting.
The Rockets, who have not been playing their best, let's get real. They've been struggling for a little bit. They lost. They beat the Warriors 107-86. They held the Warriors to 86 points, which to me sounds incredible.
Mm-hmm.
They held Kevin Durant to just 20 points. Draymond Green had 0 points. I know he's a defensive-minded player, but 0 points? 5 rebounds, 5 assists? That's not a good stat line to look at. James Harden...
Maybe he's protesting.
Sure, okay. James Harden had 27 points, but he didn't have his triple-double self, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. He did go 8 of 23, and that's not a good
He shot 14 threes.
And he only made 4 of them.
Yeah, he didn't have an efficient night. He just had a decent game.
He just kept shooting until something went in.
Right, so...
But Eric Gordon had 17 points himself. Ennis III had 19 points himself. Capella had 10 points, 10 rebounds. Chris Paul had 10 points, 7 assists. Everyone contributed in this game.
The story, though, is basically what happened to the Warriors. No Curry, but you still have Kevin Durant. You still have Klay Thompson. You're telling me that these guys scored 86 points in an NBA game in 2018? That's got to be the more shocking thing, right? 86?
That's very tiny.
86 points.
That's like a college basketball score, and they play less minutes.
We're talking about a team that had not been stopped to under 110 until this week. They had scored at least 110 in every game of the season until this week, Jeff. They scored 86.
Yeah, that's a huge downturn. Absolutely. But another game to look at and be very and maybe you should worry about this team. The Spurs lost again to the Clippers, 116-111. Is it time to panic if you're the Spurs?
I think it might be. You don't want to overreact this early.
Was this 3 straight losses?
You don't want to. Yeah, you don't want to overreact this early in the season. But I mean, they're losing. They lost to the Clippers. That's a decent team, but they just got smacked by the Suns. They were playing a back-to-back, so there is something.
Well, they lost to the
there.
Kings also. So this team has lost to some teams that they could beat.
They've lost to teams that you'd expect them to beat if they're going to make the playoffs. And the Clippers, they've been impressive, I have to say. I don't think that either one of us really saw the Clippers jumping out to this 9-5 start.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know if this is good for the Clippers or just bad for the Spurs. This is just, we'll see. Mm-hmm. We'll see how both teams go on from this game.
The Spurs, again, though, they don't shoot very well. DeRozan, a lot of people have talked about how good he's been. Yesterday, 14 of 30. He shot the ball 30 times. He scored 34 again. That's that's not really an efficient night. It's not terrible, but he's not making any threes. So every time down the court, he's basically shooting a 2, which will hurt his overall. If he shoots 30 times, it's going to limit how many points he can score because he's not attempting that many threes. He only attempted 3 last night. So I know that's not really his game, but he'll have nights like this, especially when he doesn't shoot well from beyond the arc or shoot many attempts. So it is time to be worried. Do you think it's time to be worried if you're the Spurs? If you're a fan of the Spurs?
I would be concerned, but again, early in the season, so we'll see.
Yeah, okay.
A team that's been playing extremely well, they just got their 10th win of the season. The Denver Nuggets handily defeating the Atlanta Hawks 138-93.
45-point win, huh?
The Denver Nuggets seem to be becoming a series. I know they've been struggling the last couple of games, but this game really showed that this team can be an elite in the NBA.
Yes, they play solid defense, and they can score. And they don't just do it with one guy. That's what I really like about the Denver Nuggets is that
Millsap.
Yeah, Hernan Gomez. Jokic.
Hernan Gomez had 25 points and almost a double-double with 9 rebounds. You said Millsap had 18 points. Harris had 18 points. And
look at their bench too.
Yeah, Michael Beasley with 15 points himself, and Murray with 14 points, and Lyles with 14 points. Everyone's contributing, like you're saying, and that's fun to watch.
They got 60 points off the bench. That's a ton of points. And now, albeit they won in a blowout, so a lot of those guys got to play extended minutes, but still.
That still gives them confidence, they know they can score points and they can contribute.
You know what I really like about this team? Mm-hmm. I like that Jokic is probably their best player. 12 points, 9 rebounds, and 7 assists from your center. They run that offense through the center, and it's awesome to see. He sets up his teammates well. He can score.
He could be getting some more triple-doubles as the season continues.
And if you look at it, Jeff, 25 minutes he played. If he plays 5 to 7 more minutes, he gets a triple-double. He gets 1 more rebound and 3 more assists for sure.
But they were winning by so much, they're like, yeah, exactly. We're not going to risk you hurting yourself.
I think it's time for us to really consider Denver. And I know they played the Hawks. It's not like we're getting crazy because they beat the Atlanta Hawks, who are 3-12. But it's time to consider the Nuggets as one of the top 3 or 4 teams in the West. I really think that we need to just, if either one of us or any listeners out there think that it's a fluke, I think it's time that we kind of get past that, because they play good against good teams. They beat good teams, they beat bad teams. They're just a good team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And looking in today's games, there's a lot of games today, and mainly because it's Friday. Mm-hmm. It's Friday. Remember that song? That Friday song? Back when we were in school.
She does a little thing with her hand.
Rebecca Black?
Yeah, Rebecca Black.
Was that her name?
God, that is the worst.
Why do I remember that?
That is the worst song ever made. That's definitely on the list.
Yeah, in top 10 worst of all time. Yeah, that could be it. But I feel like there have been worse songs. There's gotta be, but whatever. Anyways,
there's some good games this week or this tonight. Raptors Celtics.
Yeah, but there was a game I was looking at that you didn't expect these teams to be having.
Oh, I think I know where you're going.
Both winning records and potential dark horses.
We're talking about a playoff matchup here, a knockout round playoff matchup between in the Western Conference. Yeah,
you can say it.
Memphis and Sacramento?
Yeah, isn't that weird? They're both 8 wins. They both are 8-6.
Both teams are playing well.
They've beaten some high caliber teams. Both of them have.
Oh boy.
Yeah, definitely an interesting one to say the least. But yeah, like you said, Raptors and Celtics is probably the game everyone's going to watch.
Let me go back to the Kings Grizzlies game for a minute. Have the Kings and Grizzlies ever played in a game that mattered? Or like
they had a trade that mattered. Remember Mike Bibby and Jason Williams back in the day?
But that was the Vancouver Grizzlies.
That's about it. That's all I can think about. So yeah. Anyways, moving on to other games. We just have to think about other teams right now. Any better teams?
Raptors, Celtics.
All due respect to the Kings and Grizzlies, we ought to talk mainly about the Raptors and Celtics because that's the game everyone's going to watch.
Speaking of championship contenders, the
mainly
Raptors
because I was like mainly because it's on ESPN and the Kings and Grizzlies is on local stations.
Yeah, right. So let's talk about that ESPN game. That's going to be a fun one.
Oh, absolutely. Raptors 12-3, looking like the best team in the East at the moment. Mm-hmm. And the Celtics, who have been kind of disappointing this season, 8-6.
Yeah, the Raptors did just lose their last 2 games, though. So, they lost to the Pelicans by 16. They lost to the Pistons by 2. And the Celtics have been playing better as of late. They did lose to the Blazers and the Jazz, but they did win their last game against the Bulls. This might be an important game for Boston because, Boston's at home. They want to establish themselves as still maybe the team to beat in the East. They know that all the attention's on the Raptors right now and on the Bucks, but this could be a statement game.
Absolutely. This is definitely a statement game, without question.
What about that Jazz-Sixers game? That's going to be good.
Yes.
See Jimmy Butler, second game.
Butler versus Mitchell.
Yeah, there you go.
The game of the century.
I wish that was on ESPN too. I wish the Bulls and Bucks is the other game on ESPN. That doesn't do anything for me, Give me the Jazz Sixers. That game should be put on ESPN. Would you agree with that?
Can one be on ESPN, the other can be on ESPN
who wants to watch Bucks and Bulls, or Blazers Timberwolves? That could be a decent game. Interesting.
Yeah.
I
can understand, but I think it was more along the lines of Giannis is the draw.
Yeah, for sure.
The teams are the draw. I don't think when they made the schedule, local broadcasts and all that stuff, that the Sixers would have Jimmy Butler and this trade would be the aftermath of the huge trade that just happened. So it just, I think it's just you got to go with the punches.
I see what you're saying. All right, so how about we go to a break?
Fine, we can go to a break. When we get back, we'll go to our final segment of the night.
Got some MLB news.
Ooh, I like MLB and I like news, so we'll get right on that when we return.
Are you looking for help for your fantasy football team? Check out the GSMC Fantasy Football Podcast. Get today's best advice on who to start, who to sit, even who you should draft. From sleeper picks to red-hot lineups, they got it all covered for you. That's gsmcpodcast.com/fantasy-football-podcast. We'll cover traditional leagues, dynasty, PPR, even IDP leagues. When you need fantasy help, there's just one show to hit up. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit gsmcpodcast.com for more info.
And welcome back to the final segment of the GSMC Sports Podcast. We are talking about MLB. The NL and AL MVPs have been announced. We have the winners. You have the winners. Tell me those winners.
Yes, sir. So in the National League, we have Christian Yelich. He beats Nolan Arenado and Baez to win the National League MVP. Jeff?
I don't think Baez was going to win that regardless,
right.
but Arenado was going to be definitely a contest for Yelich. But Yelich had a great season. You know what team he used to be on was the Marlins. Mm-hmm. So the Marlins had 2 MVPs at one point. They had Stanton and they had Yelich.
Yeah, and we have Marlin news here in a second. But what do you think about Yelich? Right pick?
Absolutely.
They got it right?
Yeah, fantastic. Like, he basically led that team to the National League Championship Series.
Great year, great addition, big time.
And this team can easily make the World Series next year.
Oh yeah, they got a good thing going.
They got something going. So it wasn't just a one-hit wonder, in my opinion. This team has some serious
Yellowich's
potential.
still real young too.
Oh yeah,
He's got a bright future.
yeah. He reminds me of Buster Posey.
Like, I found it interesting. He was working out with Baker Mayfield. I did not. That was like a weird friendship to me. I had heard that him and Baker Mayfield had been working out together. Christian Yelich and like that. Where did that happen?
Brown chicken? No, I'm kidding. But yeah. I can see that. Like, sports athletes usually become friends, like type of thing. So, but yeah, Yelich is the obvious choice, and American League is another obvious choice. Mookie Betts gets the American League MVP vote. That was the right pick.
Yeah, Mookie Betts. I mean, what can you say?
Yeah, he had an amazing year on a team that won 108 wins and a World Series. So
he beats Mike Trout and Jose Ramirez. But again,
Mike Trout was there just because Mike Trout. That's what I think about it. But
I feel like Mike Trout was like LeBron James, kind of, where he can win the MVP every year. It's just like somebody has, maybe that other team has a championship run, and that player gets more noticed or something.
Yeah. Mookie Betts was that guy, definitely.
You you agree with that one too?
Oh, 100%.
I think they got it right. I'm not sure. We talked about some of the other awards, like what was it, Manager of the Year, where they picked that Oakland A's manager over,
which doesn't make sense. Which should have been like, honestly, either Red Sox or Craig Counsell.
Yeah, but the National League, I thought they got right. You thought they got wrong. It could have been Counsell, but I mean, the Braves did have an incredible season too.
But the American League, they got it wrong.
Yeah, the American League. How do you win 108 games and not win Manager of the Year? I just don't get
and
that.
how did the Oakland A's win Manager of the Year? Like,
they made the playoffs, so I mean, they had a great year.
But 108 wins. Not how many teams could say that? Like,
maybe because
7 in the world.
The only argument I can make
history?
is that the A's exceeded their win total by more of a difference than the Red Sox did.
Yeah, but the Red Sox.
But the bar was also set really low for the A's, which
true.
makes a difference.
I think it's more like, Moneyball was still a thing. It feels like, But yeah, those two games, those two awards, MVP wise, was the right choice.
All right, so what do you think of? If you haven't seen it yet, listeners, go check it out. But the Miami Marlins. They've changed their uniforms. They got rid of the orange.
It's black. It's just black now.
It's looking black. Real Miami Vice to me.
Darkness imprisoning me. All that I can see.
It's looking real Miami Vice. I think they saw what the Heat did with those Miami Vice. It wasn't even
pink.
Jerseys.
It's not even pink. It's red, neon
Is
red.
It? It's a weird color. I don't even know what you'd call it.
It's not pink.
It's like a hot red though, right? Like
it just. What are the uniforms going to look like? That's the ultimate.
Oh, I
question.
see them. They're right here.
Oh, they're right there. They announced. I thought they just released the logo.
No, they have the uniform right here. So
it's basically the same thing, just color change.
Yeah, they dropped the orange.
That's disappointing.
It's kind of still an orange though, right? It's like an orange red. It's like not a. I mean, it's Miami Vice, dude. It's Miami
a weird
Vice.
trailer because I just saw this guy spitting water, but I kind of get it because it's a Marlin. I like the Marlins teal jerseys.
Yeah,
though.
the teal ones.
Those are
good.
the nice ones. The white, regular home ones have a lot to be desired, but I like their alternates.
Yeah, basically the difference is they dropped the orange, they got the teal, the black, and the hot red.
How
color.
often has this team changed logos?
I actually think that looks pretty good. I like the logo,
but it just black should not be a part of it. Black makes it look like. I feel like if that was white, I think it would look cooler.
It must be fun to be part of an organization from Miami, like a sports franchise, because I feel like you have like the world is your power. How does that saying go? Like you have like unlimited options. Like you can do whatever ridiculous thing you want, and it might work because it's Miami.
I don't get me wrong. I like the logo and like the black on their jerseys looks really cool, but just the logo, it feels like with the black background, it feels like it's almost too much. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So
if it was like a white on black background, I think that looked really cool.
Carmelo Anthony has been officially waived by the Rockets. Does he land? Where's the best fit for him now in the NBA?
A retirement home? But I have no idea.
I don't think the best fit is for him in the NBA. I think the best fit is with Jimmer in where is it? Shanghai, the Shanghai Sharks. Is that where Jimmer plays? Him and Jimmer could do some amazing things out there. Jimmer scored 75 points in a game this year.
They still lost that game.
But if he could score 75, then what can Melo do? Anyways, We'll see where he lands. I'm sure by the end of the weekend, when we come back Monday, he might have found a new team.
There is one more thing I want to talk about, though.
There's one more thing I want to talk about, too. You go first.
Ed Oliver and his head coach kind of got into a little scruffle.
I saw that because of the jacket, right?
He wasn't playing, supposedly, so he was wearing a team jacket like you wear with your pads and stuff. And he told him to take it off and physically took it off him. And
Major Applewhite.
Yeah, I don't understand why you would do that. Why
do
was
you
that
remember
such
Major
a big deal?
Applewhite in college? Or was that a little before your... Because he was like a quarterback like in the 90s, I think.
I was a baby in the 90s.
He was a big-time player. I think he did play in the NFL, but he was never a starter. Maybe the Titans. I want to say the Titans he played for. But Major Applewhite was a quarterback at Texas.
What a great name, by the way, Major Applewhite.
Yeah, he was a quarterback at Texas. He was a Longhorns quarterback for a few years. So
yeah,
he had a really good
I do
career.
have to say, like, I understand. Like, I don't really understand. I honestly don't understand why you would just do that. You're just focus on the game, man. You're a head coach.
I don't know what the coach is
and
doing there.
Ed Oliver seemed a little defensive about it, but I kind of understand, like, why are you worrying about this? This seems pretty pointless. I'm part of this team. Why can't I wear this jacket? I know I'm not playing tonight, but I don't understand why this bothers you so much. Like, that would upset me also. I don't blame Ed Oliver for anything. I don't say, oh, he's a bad player he can't be coached. No, Major Applewhite just doesn't know how to coach.
It makes me think of that saying, what is it? This is the hill that you choose to die on. Like this is the moment where Major Applewhite wanted to kind of throw his weight around as head coach. Like, it seems kind of it seems kind of manufactured. Like, it doesn't seem organic to me. So
yeah, Major Applewhite just seemed like he was being more of a control freak than anything.
I gotta say one more thing before we end this podcast.
Go for it.
Patrick Mahomes puts ketchup on macaroni and cheese. Patrick Mahomes puts ketchup on macaroni and cheese. I just want to say that, and then we can end the podcast with that.
Yeah, make sure everyone's gagging after this. Great.
So
thank you so much for joining us. If you put ketchup on your food, all your food, if you put it on fries, that's... Oh, God. Don't listen to our show if you do that.
Mahomes puts it on steak, too.
God, how dare... Like, that angers... I love steak. Teriyaki sauce is perfect on steak. Have you had teriyaki sauce on steak? Ooh.
Do you know that there is as much sugar in a tablespoon of ketchup as there is in
All right, this is not the food podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. Please tune us in on Monday. Please tune us in on Monday. We'll talk about Monday Night Football and other games that happen on Sunday. Please, and we'll see you later. Goodbye. I'm going to go throw up now.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.